Hey guys, it's Jacob with Rise and Land Clearing Growth. The goal of this video is to address one of the most frequently asked questions I get on sales calls, which is who am I? Where did I come from? What's my background like? A lot of people make a lot of assumptions or have lots of questions, so I just kind of lay it all out here in this video. I get very vulnerable and very honest about my past and where I've come from and how I got here, especially recent current events and why that's kind of important. And so I hope that you enjoy it. And if you have any questions or you want to talk more about life, church, business, careers, anything, comment below. Would love to talk. Hope you enjoy it. So most people know me as a business owner online that helps land clearing companies grow their business. But I didn't come from business. I grew up in a 900 square foot home where I shared a room with my little brother, hustled duct tape wallets for extra money, mowed lawns like a lot of us did, and dreamed of becoming a firefighter. I never thought I'd be a business owner, and especially not a marketing agency. But here we are. Today I want to share how I went from being a small town kid in Braunfels to a firefighter to now owning a multi-million-dollar business that helps land clearing companies dominate their market every day. And the hard lessons I learned along the way, the painful way, so you don't have to. But yeah, I was born and raised here in New Braunfels, Texas, kind of a mid-sized town in between San Antonio and Austin. So growing up, shared a room with my brother, and parents both worked, but were also heavily involved in the church as we were growing up, which was awesome. I believe that really helped me to have a great foundation in life, build my faith, and also they showed me a really good work ethic. Because of that, I started working early. I always had some kind of side gig or side hustle or just, little ways to make money here and there as much as I could. If there was somebody who would let me mow their lawn or pick up sticks or any kind of manual labor people would allow me to do to make money, I would be trying to do it. Spent a lot of time on construction sites with my dad, who was mainly a framer, kind of a contractor. So got to do a lot of stuff there, spend some time on tractors and messing around with the equipment and stuff. Nothing like an operator for a land clearing company, but did get to play around with a lot of machines growing up. And of course, I always dreamed of being a firefighter, and then living in New Braunfels, loved to be on the rivers. We have 2 rivers, and it's very easy to get into the water. That's one of my favorite things to do and where I spent a lot of time as a kid. Going into the 8th grade, I became homeschooled, and my mom started being at home as my dad got more into the ministry. And at first I was kind of resistive to that, but then I realized that I could work hard, finish my school super early, and then go work. So I quickly got a job and started working as soon as I finished school. Did lots of odd jobs right up until the point where I was 16 and I could get, a real job being on a payroll somewhere. I did that as soon as I could and had a nice cycle of work, school, sports, work, school, sports, just doing as much as I could. Always kind of wanted to be independent as early as I could. And so I worked at a restaurant called Freddy's for a few years. And when I was at the manager level at Freddy's, long story short, I met the love of my life there. And we ended up getting married super young, which was awesome. And so from there, I moved on to work at a lumberyard where I could make a little more money to support us and also be able to go to Fire Academy on the weekends. So I'd work all week at the lumberyard and then go to Fire Academy Friday night to Sunday evening. And so that jump started me to getting towards my dream. And for those of y'all that don't know, it's a little bit competitive to try to get hired at a fire department. And so I wasn't able to get hired at New Braunfels initially, but I got hired at Killeen Fire Department, which allowed me to run a lot of calls, have a lot of fun. It's a pretty crazy city, so got to do a lot of fun things and learn a lot about being a firefighter there. And then they also put me through paramedic school at Central Texas College, which is where I really started to grow my love for really being able to help people, especially on the paramedicine side, which had a special place in my heart. With my wife being a type 1 diabetic, I've always wanted to be able to help her and serve her in the most helpful way. So I spent a year, about 15 months up there, driving back and forth. It was kind of a bit of a commute, but it was a very fun job and got to get that paramedic cert. But then I got hired at New Braunfels, so I finally got my dream job working for New Braunfels Fire Department just 2 weeks before our first child was born, Kristen, who's 8 years old now, which being a dad is the one of my favorite things in the whole world. And just a short 18 months later, our son was born, Carter, who is about 6.5 now. So I got to be a boy dad too, which is very exciting. Working at New Braunfels Fire Department was really everything I could have dreamed of and more. I got to be at the busiest station for my first 5 years there and got to teach lots of classes, being a fire instructor, an EMS instructor, and being a field training paramedic. Got to teach new paramedics how to do the job and be better at their job and help people in a higher level. I was able to achieve the Rookie of the Year, Firefighter of the Year, and the Medical Director's Award in that time span, right before getting promoted to engineer, where I spent the next 3 years of my career on Ladder Truck 7, learning ladder truck operations, rescue operations, rope, cave, high angle, heavy rescue, swift water, all the things that come with that, which was another big, exciting challenge and really fun opportunity. Really is the best job in the world, but it took minimum 96 hours a week of my time and very hard on the mind and body. As you know, many of you have probably known or been around, first responders or maybe even people in the military who've done even crazier things. It can really wear on you. Still the best job in the world. During all of that time, I still always had some kind of side hustles going on. I worked at the local grocery store on my days off. I would still try to, mow lawns. I drove a shuttle for a tube agency down on the river, which was pretty fun, a little bit crazy. And then I had this crazy idea that I wanted to start a pressure washing business. At this time, me and my dad had started a church here locally, and we kind of needed ways to support that and to make more money. And so I thought, well, I've always wanted to try this pressure washing thing, so let's try it out. At this point, I really did not know anything about business, but we went for it and kind of learned along the way. And the business got really busy really fast. It kind of grew a lot faster than I would have really imagined. Lots of, on-the-job training, hard lessons learned along the way, and started just getting really busy. We did a couple years of making 6 figures with the business, just working on my days off, and really good profit because it was just us doing it, right? And then COVID hit. When COVID hit, pressure washing got kind of weird, just like the majority of businesses. We really didn't know where things were going to go with all of that. And during that time, I actually saw a Facebook ad for something I'd been kind of really looking into as I was taking courses and learning to market for the pressure washing business. I saw this ad that really laser targeted me on how to run an advertising agency. So with the whole COVID thing getting rolling, I wasn't really sure, what the future for pressure washing was going to look like at the time. And I didn't really have a whole lot of extra money at that time because, everything was slow. So anyways, I found this course mentorship coaching program and didn't really have the money for it, but I just took the risk and did it and followed it to the T. And it was really, honestly, the thing that put me in the direction to get to where we are today. A big lesson learned there was when I first did it, I was following everything to the T, and I was trying to run ads for myself and had spent about $5,000 and didn't get a single new client off of that. And that is where a lot of people in business and advertising and whatever, they put this arbitrary amount forward, and if it doesn't turn out to be the big thing that they wanted it to be right away, then they quit. And the key lesson there is if I had quit then, I wouldn't have a multi-million-dollar agency today. So within a few months, I had landed a few clients, one of them being our first land clearing company. In working with them, we were able to get really good results, and I noticed sort of a big gap in the industry that a lot of guys were like him who were great at their work, had done a lot of traditional methods over the years, had tons of experience, got word of mouth jobs, yellow pages jobs, billboards, small paper ads or something like that. And we're able to stay busy for years and years. But at this big turn of the digital age and then post COVID, everybody really moving heavily towards the social media platforms. I noticed there was a big gap there, and then also a big gap in the sales process with the way buyer behavior was changing and with the way that you track things online when you have more volume, right? Like if you just get 5 word of mouth jobs and you only need 5 jobs, like that's a little easier to get, easier to handle. But if, nowadays to get 5 decent jobs, you have to go through 50 leads and filter down to get to those and put all those 50 people through some kind of sales process. You really need a system for that. And I noticed that a lot of guys in this industry did not have that system. And so once I realized that there were others like him out there and we'd gotten really good results and kind of nailed down a way to help him do a better job, that was the real turning point before we started to blow up. So we pivoted the agency to be for land clearing only. And as I kind of just mentioned, we found out that the key ingredients or the secrets was not necessarily just ads, but systems. So I created the land clearing growth freedom system. That's what I like to call it. You need a consistent flow of high quality opportunities coming to you predictably and often. You need automated follow-up sequences. You need a sales process that closes predictably. You need a reputation and a way to build trust online that attracts people and allows them to learn about you. And you need the right message delivered at the right time, all the time. And the big thing is the system, pulling it all together. And of course, you could run your own ads, or you could have your own system, or have your own CRM, or be good at sales. But if you don't have it all together, it's not going to be this return on investment machine that you need it to be. That's why, people trying to copy other people generally never works, because you don't have the foundation that it took for that person who created it to create it, right? You don't know what they had to go through to get to that end result or that end product, or the steps they took along the way. And if you just try to copy somebody and you miss one thing, compare it to a machine. If you put it all together and two machines look the same, but one's missing a key component, it's not going to run, or it's not going to run right. So clients results started pouring in. We're averaging a 7x return on investment. Some people 10, 15x, guys who are better at sales or are landing bigger jobs. One of the things that I never really saw coming and that I'm most proud of, because it just kind of happened organically, is that we're not just an agency or just marketing or just running ads. Like we build relationships. We're friends with our clients. We talk to them daily about life and business, about faith and growth, and everything that's going on. We're truly partnering with them to grow their business and their life. So fast forward, we've been doing this thing for a few years. We're growing rapidly. We have tons of clients. We're hiring employees, innovating, increasing results, trying to keep up with the times or be ahead of the times, get the absolute best results for our clients, and trying to hire as fast as we're getting new clients. All the while, I'm still working at the fire department, right? And so I'm trying to hire to fill those gaps for when I'm at the fire station 96 hours a week, which I didn't always want to tell people, because I didn't want them to think that we're not giving the full attention to their account, because for a long time it was just me. Like up to like 50, 60 clients in our agency, I was the one doing everything from front to back. And so, I hired very quickly and hired a lot of people to help us out. And I just, didn't want that image out there that this is like a side hustle, because it wasn't a side hustle. It's a full-blown business with, employees and systems and processes and everything. So I wasn't always like, I never really hid it, but I didn't really make it too public, and didn't want people to, lose confidence in what we provided them. And I truly thought that I could keep firefighting for the rest of my career, and I never saw my life going any other direction than that. Of course, it's a It's a very secure job, benefits, you're working for a municipality, you have a state retirement and all this stuff. But it was really wearing on me. It was really wearing on my family and my wife, my house, my kids, my home life. Everything was sort of being strained. So I was really faced with one of the hardest decisions of my entire life. I love this job. I think it's the best job in the world. I was good at it. I had a lot of fun at it, but it was taking me away for 96 hours a week, and I'm coming home tired, drained, low energy, and still need to be able to give energy to my family and then to the businesses, of course. Earlier in the year, I had the benefit of going to an event in Miami with other agency owners like myself, and then shortly after, going to an event with Alex Hormozy, if anybody's ever heard of that. And they all gave me the same advice of you have to focus all of your time on the agency. This was super hard for me to hear, and of course, I gave myself that mental block of, well, they just don't understand. Like, I only work 10 days a month. I can do both, and I can just hire more people, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't till he really looked me in the eyes and was like, you're trying to build this with a fifth of your time, and you're not being able to give enough focus to anything in your life. And he goes, if you're ever going to get past this point that you're at, you're going to have to let something go. And in my case, that's when the hard decision came, is like, do I choose this job that I love, or do I choose this thing that allows me to be with my family a lot more, impact more people, and make more money, which then in turn allows me to have more freedom and to help more people. After a lot of prayer and family meetings, I made the hardest decision I've had to make, and I chose to retire from the fire department after a 10-year career. And I didn't leave the fire department because I stopped loving it. I left it because I love my family more. Since then, our business has begun to thrive even more. We're getting better results for our clients. Our clients are happier. We're communicating with them more. Our team is happier. I'm communicating with them more. Our marketing and online presence has grown tremendously because I've been able to spend more time talking with clients and getting into the details and making the whole thing better because I have 100 hours a week of my time back. And now today, Rise has more employees than ever who are doing more work than ever and in a happier place. We're working together more and focusing more on the product and the value we actually bring to our clients because we care about them and I care about them. And now our culture has pointed towards showing people how much we care and actually putting in this extra legwork to make sure your business is successful and not just sending you some leads. Currently, we have 130 land clearing clients that are with us, and the top half or so of those have been with us longer than a year, and we have about 30 or so that have been with us 2 years plus, and a handful that have been with us 3 to 4 years. And then the average of the rest is 6 to 9 months. We've added on a lot of new clients this summer, so we have a huge handful of people. I say huge, probably like 20 or 30 people that came on in the last 3 or 4 months here. And our clients are staying longer than ever, and our clients are happier than they've ever been. We've always got good results, but we're just upping the game, upping the bar, upping the results, upping the proactivity, the value that we're bringing to our clients, and the planning and the tracking. Everything we're doing, we're trying to add more value. Currently manage millions in ad spend regularly between all of our clients, and our average return on investment is 7x and growing. And we have many clients doing a 10x return on the money they spend. A big thing I want to point out is that I'm not trying to build this to have a lot of vanity or fancy extravagant things. Like, we live in a very humble home on kind of a hobby farm with chickens and goats and donkeys and a tortoise and many horses, ducks, dogs, all kinds of random animals that I come home to all the time. We did have a kangaroo once, but he ended up dying. Rip Ranger. But my goal is to build a machine that produces freedom, impact, and growth. I want the freedom to be able to help anyone at any time, to do anything I want at any time, and to say no to anything at any time. And I want to be able to offer help to others to help them get more freedom, to help them grow more, and to help them have more impact. And then the other big thing I said earlier, we started our own church here that's growing, and I want to be able to put as much time, effort, and resources towards helping the church grow. And then, of course, I would love to leave, some kind of legacy for my kids, whatever that looks like. So if you're out there grinding, building, but you feel stuck, I have been there. You don't have to do it all alone. You need the right systems. You need the right people. You need your circle of people who can hold you accountable and be honest with you. And you need the willingness to get uncomfortable to grow. Hey, I debated putting this in this video or not, but I think I'm just going to throw it in. But when bringing up this firefighting thing, like I said, I usually don't talk a lot about it when in this space, but it cracks me up. I get guys like comment or call or message all the time saying stuff like, you've never been behind a machine, or you've never sat your butt in a machine, or you've never been covered in hydraulic oil. And it cracks me up because, number one, like, what would that have anything to do with me being able to help you market and scale and grow your business? Like, me being an operator and having been covered in hydraulic oil doesn't really equate to being able to help you grow your business and get more jobs. Like, that's on your end, on the beginning of a business. But even so, like, the most successful lane clearing business owners are not the operators. They're the better business people. Like, being an operator is an amazing skill set, and of course it's good to understand, exactly what needs to be done for your business, but your level of being able to, be an operator and work on hydraulic lines and be covered in hydraulic oil doesn't have anything to do with the success of your business. So I think that's hilarious, but then it's also hilarious that they just assume they know what I've been through, and I always hold my tongue, but the sort of ego side of me wants to be like, well, have you ever been in a house that was on fire? Have you ever been covered in someone else's blood trying to save their life in the middle of the highway at 2:30 in the morning? Have you ever been in nasty, swift water trying to look for little kids' bodies? Have you ever had to hold someone and tell them it's going to be okay when it's not going to be okay? Have you ever had to rush in to save someone's life who maybe doesn't deserve it, risking your own life while your family's at home hoping that you come home the next day? Have you ever had to be under a fire truck fixing something that's broke at 2 in the morning because the maintenance guy is obviously not working at 2 in the morning? Have you ever had to do any of these things that we had to do? I mean, for those of you who've been in any type of service like that, it's like when somebody calls, you just do whatever they called you for. Like, they just expect you to show up and fix the problems. And I have spent many late nights covered in many things that most people have probably never done or never been covered up in. But because of that, I have a different perspective and a different understanding, and I believe God has given me a special ability to have compassion for people, even when maybe you don't want to, or you don't feel like they deserve it. And I just could never understand having that mindset of just assuming that somebody has never been through what you've been through, so they can't help you or they can't relate to you. So that's sort of my 2 cents on that. Don't assume you know somebody just because you saw them on a video, or assume that because they're on a video talking about computers and advertising that they haven't been through it. So Anyways, soapbox there. Hope y'all enjoyed that. If you're a land clearing business owner or even just an entrepreneur trying to break through, subscribe to the channel. This year I'm sharing the real stuff, the systems, the wins, the mistakes, and how you can scale your business without sacrificing your life. Drop a comment, tell me your story. I would love to hear it. I hope for those of you who know me or have heard of me that getting this kind of full understanding of my life and where I've come from will be helpful to you. And I would love to talk to you more, learn more about you. Hopefully this was helpful. Talk to you soon.